Well, what's going on, everybody? Anyway, welcome, welcome to the show. I'm a little bit early. It's 6 o'clock. Normally, I do the show around 8, but my wife is currently just south of Chicago, about 30,000 feet up in the air, on her way home. 35,000 feet up in the air, to be exact. Traveling at a whopping speed of where does it say it? Does it 528 knots? And so I'm pretty excited because she's coming home. And yeah, so finally these kids will be quiet because they won't be here, you know. But which because today was a trying day for these little fuckers. Anyway, but today has been a good day, right? You may see the title of the video and you're kind of curious, Steve, what do you mean by that? It's a really crafty title, unless you're on Kick, and then I didn't update the title because I forgot. But the title to this video, and I forgot what it was anyway, Supreme Court ruling restores faith in common sense. Now, I know what you're saying. You're probably like, wait, what do you mean by that, Steve? That's very odd. When you look at it from like a big level, like a high up level, when you look at what's happening in this country right now, the Supreme Court rulings over the past 24 hours have been pretty important when it comes to the morale of this country, right? Because a lot of people were kind of curious about whether or not our country was going to succeed. Do you know what I mean? To be honest, I mean, I don't know how many people were feeling that way, but it was, I don't know. I was getting a little bit nervous myself, thinking that things are just getting crazy. Like people are getting crazy, right? And then the Supreme Court yesterday kind of roped it back in. It was like fishing, right? So, you're catching a fish and you got to release it. So, or not release it, but you got to release the spool so the fish will tire itself out from swimming, right? And then all of a sudden, we've slowly been cranking in. And then yesterday, they started really reeling it in, right? With the affirmative action ruling. And who would have thought that really would have offended people, that you can't use race? You can't use race as some sort of qualifier to get into a college. Because isn't it weird? Like, does anyone not realize just how freaking batshit crazy that whole argument is? The whole affirmative action in school selection? Because you can't use race as a determinant. Don't they literally have rules and laws in place right now saying you can't not hire someone because they're black? Because that's affirmative action, right? It's racial stereotyping, a bunch of things. But they want to make it okay for colleges to give preference to people that are minorities, which doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me, right? You would think it would be a merit-based system across the board, in a merit-based, and I don't agree with legacy systems or anything like that, but a merit-based system where, the most qualified person gets enrolled. You know what I mean? That would make the most sense. So someone said the audio and video is a little off. I'm not quite sure why. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you because it seems fine to me. But if it's bad, I apologize. But I'm just going to keep going. As long as you guys can hear it, that's fine. But, and my kids are not playing video games today, too. I kicked them off just to be able to see it. But anyway, yeah, it's you shouldn't be able to use race for anything. That would be the most logical answer to everything, right? Just don't use race. But I don't know why. And so many people are arguing that you need to be able to use race, which to me aren't you making it so people are disadvantaged? You know what I mean? I don't know. Someone said that big blue chart in your local break room is called the EOE scale, religion, blah, 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 nationality. Yeah. Yeah. It's just crazy. The whole thing is just crazy. Doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. Someone said it is. There's a slight delay. We can hear. Sound is fine. Okay. But that wasn't the big one. Like that, I didn't even talk about it last night. We just talked about trucking. But then today, there was some more, right? And this was when we really started reeling in that fish, right? And that fish being like our country. today, first off, it was a website designer, a Supreme Court case where a gay couple wanted a website, a wedding website designer to design a website for their gay marriage. And the website designer didn't want to make didn't want to do it, essentially, and refused to do it. And then they were sued by the state of Colorado. And I'm not sure if we televised it, but I did listen to the Supreme Court oral arguments with that case. I don't know if I televised it or broadcast it, or if I just listened to it on my own. But I remember thinking about it, and I was like, this is really weird, because they're trying to take a private company to say it would be like a business that, well, you can't even think of another scenario, right? Or I can't think of another scenario. It basically means if you disagree with someone's political views, and so you ban all people with that political view from being in your restaurant. Well, no, that doesn't even count, because that's like the opposite. Plus, political views are not a protected. It just doesn't make it. Here's the thing: people have the freedom of religion in America. How that even came to question shows how weird we are as a country. Do you know what I mean? The fact that if someone, wants to say, well, it's because of my religious beliefs that I don't want to design a website for two gay people, then that should be that person's prerogative. As if that's like saying, okay, you find out someone's religious, so you decide that you don't want to go to their restaurant anymore. You know what I mean? What they were trying to say is to force you to go to that restaurant. That's what they were trying to say. The liberals were trying to say, well, even though you don't want to go to that restaurant for whatever belief, you have to go to that restaurant. You know what I mean? That's just like an opposite way of looking at this scenario. And when you think about it from that perspective, it really doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense why that was even a Supreme Court case in the first place. But just because we've gotten so freaking crazy in this country, and you have two protected classes, right? Freedom of religion and sexual orientation or preference, whatever. They're both protected classes. So that's why they're like, which one is more important, right? But you can't infringe on someone else's rights to pursue your right, I guess, is what the underlying factor is. Someone said it's no different than telling a customer they have to wear a mask in their business. No, it's quite different. It's quite different, because wearing a mask isn't a protected class. Do you know what I mean? It's quite different. Like, and a lot of people have tried to use that analogy before and say that they're the same thing, but they're not. Wearing a mask inside a private business, which, again, I'm someone that didn't like masks, but because they were uncomfortable. But I didn't take offense if a business wanted me to wear a mask inside said business, because that was the business's right to make that determination. It's like me or a store saying no shirts, no shoes, no service. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, I've always just been, someone that believes that a business has the right to make up whatever policies they have. And I know a lot of people disagree with that. I got a lot of flack when we covered the story about that like 60 or 70-year-old woman in New York, where was it? Texas, where she went to a Bank of America, and she refused to wear a mask. They asked her to leave, said you can go through the drive-through. She refused. Then she refused to leave the place as well. Police were called. She ended up fighting the police, and they took her to the ground because she was resisting. And she broke her collarbone. And I remember so many people were like, oh my God, this is tyranny, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you have to understand that a business has the rights to set up whatever policies they have in place, as long as they're not, and wearing a mask isn't a right. Right? I don't know. But yeah, I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. That would be like me coming into your house and sitting down, you asking me to leave, and me putting my feet on the table and saying, no, I don't want to leave. Or for example, say you have a business, that would be like me coming in and you have a requirement that I must wear a tie. Obviously, I'm not going to that business, but say I did wear a tie, or didn't want to wear a tie, but I wanted to go in and shop there, and I refused to leave until I you know what I mean? That's the easiest analogy I could give. You would probably side with the business owner in that regard and say the business owner can set whatever sort of guidelines they have. the right to refuse service to anyone is what Slim Tito just said, which I agree. A lot of people, when you combined it with the whole COVID masking shit, do you know what I mean? When you combined it with all that, that's where I think the views on a business's right to make up their own determination for whatever they believe. And again, that's just because I didn't really care too much about the whole COVID thing. I think lockdown sucked, but I didn't go out and get a vaccine, nor did I pass judgment on anybody else that went out and got a vaccine, because that was their choice. My wife is vaccinated. I did go way out of my way to try to talk her out of it, but she made the determination. She chose to do it. She didn't get boosted because she didn't want to you know what I mean? She didn't want that to happen to her, because more information started coming out after she got her first ones. But it would be like you coming into my house and you having the right to leave if you don't like dog hair. Yes. Yeah, but that's not what it is with the bank. That would be like me not having the right to leave, or no. I see what you're saying, and I think most people understand that. So the fact that a court case even got, and I can understand from the two protected class thing, right? But where do you make the determination which class gets preference? I would say, well, it's the business owner that you're trying to force to do something which impedes on their, because here's the thing. Those people that were seeking the website design could have went to a different website designer that probably wouldn't have the issue. So why are you trying to force a business to design a website? And to be honest, I wouldn't have wasted all this shit. I would have been like, I'm not doing it. And then if they said, well, you got to do it, and I got, they threatened it to do it, I would make the worst fucking website in the world. You know what I mean? I'd make a website, that was just horrible, that didn't even load, and say, okay, here's your finished project and good luck on your wedding. But that's just me, it wouldn't have been the hill that I die on, let alone go that far. Someone said you don't go to a gay web designer. You don't even need to go to a gay web designer. You just go to another web designer who doesn't have such strong religious beliefs. They wanted to make a martyr out of this situation, and they failed, and it backfired horribly, because now, and on the last day of Pride Month, like, damn, bro, Pride Month this year wasn't that, great. And that's why, like, even after that, so because of the affirmative action thing yesterday and the racist spin that they're putting on it, which to me doesn't make any sense. Do you know? That doesn't make sense at all, because it's not racist to say you can't use racism as a qualifier. Because let's be honest, affirmative action is racism. If you are giving someone preference based on their race, that is racism. Because you are being prejudiced against anyone else that's not that race. Tell it to any of the Asian people that are trying to get into Harvard or Yale and can't get in. So, and I don't know why that's so hard for so many people to understand, and why people don't see the same thing. And do we have to work on our admissions and stuff like that? Absolutely. Because we may have a disproportionate amount of white people in these schools, but Harvard's made up of what, 32% white, which definitely does not correlate with the national average of white people, the national percentage, the national makeup of this country. It certainly doesn't make up with that. You know what I mean? Someone said, Steve, got my coffee mugs. What great quality, but I shrunk my 3X to an extra small. I don't know. Put it on and stretch it out. That's like me. Like if I put on a 3X t-shirt, which is what this is, it seems tight when I first wear it. By tomorrow morning, once I wake up, it'll be loose again. But then I don't wear it because I wear shirts to show the muscles. No, but it's a 3X, so whatever. I once tried to squeeze into a 2X. It didn't work. It was a little too tight. But I don't know. It's very funny. Speaking of our store and our shirts, you guys see the new shirt I put out today? I really thought this thing would sell off the chain. I thought a ton of people would buy it. And matter of fact, you guys can all go buy it and everything in our store this weekend. Use code Independence. And that the code is live right now, Independence, and you get 20% off all weekend long until Tuesday at 11:30 p.m. Code Independence. I still have a shit ton of coffee. I gotta sell this coffee. So the ones that I have the most of right now are Victory or Death whole bean. I got a ton of it. pardon my French, whole bean, ton of it. Vanilla, whole bean, ton of it in the cans. Wake Up America, whole bean, ton of it. And then the bags, I mostly whole bean. I got a crap ton of whole bean. So use code Independence, get 20% off. And you can find all of those coffee roasts under coffee and then the coffee can classics. I'll put that link in the chat too, even though I just lost the page to that shirt because I wanted to plug that shirt as much as I can. That shirt was funny. I really, I really thought more people would, and especially with my catchy like thing when I put it out on social media. I'm like, wear this the next time, wear this when they riot over this, because I'll be honest, I still think they're gonna do it. I still think people are gonna riot over this crazy shit. I really think they were. Someone said, love the old school wood panels, straight fire. I hate these fucking wood panels. I hate them. Not the roof. I know I looked up at the roof, but our whole house has these wood panels, except that room has been painted, our bedroom now, and then the living room has sheetrock, and so in our bedroom has sheetrock. The rest of it's either the wood paneling or it's painted over wood paneling. I fucking hate it. When we do go to sell the house, we're ripping it all, or I'm ripping it all down and just putting sheetrock up. Because I just don't think people would want a room that has wood paneling. But it does look good for a background. The only problem is that's the only like plain wall. You know what I mean? And I thought about putting the table in the middle of the room so I was closer, so that whole wall was in frame, and then, doing lighting and stuff. But then I lose out on half of this room. So, and I need a spot for all the coffee and all that stuff. So, but what year is the house? 70s, I think, 78, something like that. Pretty much everything is original inside this house. But yeah, this shirt, it has, because they were doing the hashtag cancel student debt for so long. So I made a shirt with the hashtag cancel student debt with that written out, and underneath it just says pay your bills, hashtag pay your bills. And I'm like, this shirt's going to sell out like crazy. And it didn't. I needed it to. So if you guys all really want to celebrate Independence Day and commemorate this day with all of us, if every single one of you buys this shirt, it may sell out. And you can use code Independence and save $2. What? So you'll save $4, $4.40, 20% off by using code word Independence. So I fully expect by the time this show is done, and I still have another Supreme Court thing to do, to talk about. But I fully expect by the time the show is done to have more orders than we've ever had for this shirt. So, and someone said, pay your own bills. Yeah, I know. And you know what? Part of what I'm going to talk about is going to sound a little crazy, but I want to put it in a perspective later. And guys, keep in mind, you want to know something like for any of you lefties, this shirt is perfect for you. You know why? Because just as I say in the comment, I said, it seems simple, right? Today, the Supreme Court ruled that President Biden overstepped his authority, promising to forgive $400 billion in student loans. Today, many in America realized that they're going to have to pay for that crazy liberal arts degree they received. Today, people realize that they will have to become adults. Commemorate the day with this special t-shirt, which, liberals, helps me to continue paying my student loans, which I've been paying throughout the pandemic and likely will be paying for years to come. So in all reality, hey, it's like, this is Biden's bailout. You buy enough. If I sell 15,000 of these shirts, maybe my student loans, actually, no, they won't. What the hell am I talking about? I'd have to sell like $30,000 of these student loans. But I think it's funny. And I said that to someone today that's a little bit on the moderate liberal side. I said it to him and I said, you got to understand that for so many people, this was a rude awakening. For so many people, this is a rude awakening because so many people right now are just like, shit, I got to be an adult. I'm going to have one big bill that's not going to go away. And keep in mind, it's a pretty fucking heavy bill. Student loans are pretty big, depending on what you're making. And now they said they lowered it. This is what Biden's going to do. And this one's likely going to go through because it's already been tested, but it's going to take forever. So that was the last one, the student loan, right? So the Supreme Court today ruled that Biden overstepped his bounds in the student loan bailout that he did under the HEROES Act violated the Constitution. It violated his laws and the authority he had. So they overturned it. So, of course, you may have watched already, Biden gave an address, a very somber address, and then in the White House press conference, it clarified more because he said we are going to be working towards figuring out another way. They're disappeared. They disagree with the Supreme Court, blah, blah. He didn't go as far to say it's not a normal court like he did yesterday, but this one's pretty interesting. Renee said just bought shirts and a coffee. Hell yeah. Shirts and coffee. So the coffee will be sent this weekend. I just got all the boxes today. The only thing I didn't get is any of the specialty roasts or the cocos. So I don't know where the fuck they are. They're probably sitting in a UPS place because they're getting ready to strike. That's probably where they are. But I have a backup plan. I'm not going to do I thought about making a backup plan because I can lose money on all the cocoa and just go buy cocoa from a local place, except it's way more expensive, so I'd lose money. But if I don't get it by Monday, that's what I'm going to do because they have both mint and regular cocoa in stock, but it's way more expensive so I won't actually make anything at all. But the shirt is great, and everybody should buy the shirt. Slim Tito said, I've been being adult for a long time now. Yeah. I mean, everybody has, right? We've all been being adults for a long time. Sounds fucking stupid to say that. I'll be honest. Like, you take out a loan, you pay your bills. Or you don't pay your bills, but you certainly don't ask other people to go out and pay your bills. Do you know what I mean? And other people you don't even know. It's kind of like, that would be me like walking up to you, punching you in the face and saying, all right, now give me your money. Oh, wait, that's called robbery. So I really don't understand how this is any different. You know what I mean? If you're trying to force other people, and I understand that people, like, I think colleges cost entirely too much, personally. As someone that doesn't qualify for financial aid now, I believe colleges cost too much because I'm paying out of pocket for them. So, and I'm going to a community college right now. Wait till next year when I transfer to a 4-year. Although I may switch my degree. I'll be honest. Like, listen to all the Supreme Court stuff and seeing the victories. I'm like, maybe I should just go for law and be a lawyer. Or fuck it, why stop there? And I started looking up what the minimum GPA is to go to med school. I was like, this is what happens when you're by yourself at night. You can't sleep. So you just stay up Googling every possible fucking thing you possibly can. So Renee said your school loans were all written off because your school was sued. Wow, that's pretty good. Eric said, yet people can come across the border illegally and not pay a penny. Yeah, and listen, I'm someone that has probably what you would consider liberal views about school, especially when we were planning on school costs, like paying for school. I'll be honest and say they're a little bit liberal. And there's no shame in that. But well, yes, there is, but I'm going to pretend not to get too down on myself for saying that. But I don't know why. I think colleges should be extended. I think it should be built into our tax plan now. Here's the thing. If they say they have $400 billion to pay out, and bail out all these low income, what they say are low income salaries, low income earners, where they're going to forgive some of their debt, and it's going to cost the American taxpayer an average of $3,600 per year for the bailout. That's what they estimate it's going to cost. If that's the case, then why aren't they? If that's the case, then why don't we use that money and do something like Bernie Sanders or any of these other liberal morons have suggested? Like, there's this thing called the last dollar tuition free program that was introduced, and it got nowhere in Congress. You know how much that would cost? Oh, sorry. My back was itching. For the first year, you know what the last dollar is? So basically the last dollar financial aid financial whatever. Let me find it here. Under this program, the government would pay the remaining tuition fees after grant aid has been applied. The program does not cover the cost of room and board. Last dollar tuition-free programs require more administrative effort to implement, but can closely identify a student's exact level of financial need. So, and the way it would work is if tuition totaled $10,000 and grant aid covered $4,000, the government would pay the remaining $6,000. The Tennessee Promise is a real-life implementation of the Last Dollar program, so I guess Tennessee already has it going. After 11 years, the Last Dollar tuition-free program would cost the federal government $415 billion. So they could literally, with a program similar to this, if it ever passed in Congress, they could make 4-year degrees literally cost less or just $15 billion more than what this bailout would have cost. But you're not even hearing people push that out, which doesn't make a lot of sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't make a lot of sense. I personally believe the first 4 years, but that causes a lot of problems too, because do you want your taxpayer dollars going to pay for colleges for people that wouldn't go, or that not your kids essentially? Do you want your taxpayer dollars going to institutions that are pretty woke, and teaching shit that's pretty crazy? Do you know what I mean? There's the thing. Bascott said, my wife is a teacher and there's a loan program to pay off your loan if you teach 15 years minimum. Yeah, but it's there's one for my wife too. It doesn't actually forgive the entire loan. It forgives a certain amount after you make 10 years of monthly payments. However, the pandemic did pause those payments. In Florida, if she worked there for 10 years, they would have forgave it. If we knew the extent of the Florida program, we would have never left because it would have forgave in 10 years $75,000 worth of student loans. You know what I mean? Whereas here they have a program where it's a public service. So she qualifies now, but she doesn't have 10 years of payments, so it doesn't matter. So she doesn't actually qualify. She qualifies based on how long she's been working in public schools. But they only do that for the first 4 years. They don't do it for the graduate degree, which costs the most out of all of them anyway. I think she had the graduate degree, it was like 40 grand. You know what I mean? Which is absolutely insane. And then for a 2-year program. But for me, for example, because I work for a school district now, I actually start next week. So my schedule is going to be weird, but not at night. It's not like the regular school year because it starts later. I'm not starting at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm starting at 7, I think, for summer school for July. But what was I saying? Oh, they have a program for me, and I've applied for a couple of the positions rather than driving a school bus. And for anyone that doesn't know, during the school year now, I drive a school bus full of kids. And the reason I'm doing it is because I get the state pension for it. Even though I'm only working a total of 20 hours a week, I get a full-time pension. I get all the full-time benefits, including insurance and all that stuff. So for me, it makes sense to do it because I'm self-employed. You know what I mean? I can't go out and buy insurance that cheap. And so it actually saves us a lot of money, just as a household. Plus I get my CDL. I like to drive, and I like kids for the most part. So it's a good thing. However, I was talking to the HR department the other day, and they told me about a program that like JMU and some of the other schools have, where if you work as an instructional aide in the school, you get free college tuition to get your teaching degree. And so I'm like, well, shit, maybe I should just do that. So I've applied for a couple of those positions in the school district, and one, trying for his school, because then I'll coach the football team too. That's what I'm trying to do. Because then I could just carpool. Think about how much money I'd save if I work in the same school as my wife, coach the football and all that stuff. Shoot. Plus you if you're the head coach, you get like 10 grand for a supplement. So that I wouldn't be making good money. But, yeah, it's interesting. The whole thing is interesting. But this Last Dollar tuition-free program, I don't know why people wouldn't like. I don't remember them putting any of this stuff out there. And I know Democrats are the ones who have done it. I would vote for a program like that. There would have to be some stipulation, as long as you're funding the students and not the actual schools themselves. Like, I wouldn't be in agreement for federal tax-paying dollars to go to the universities themselves. However, if the program was geared towards you pay for the student, so each student is allocated with that amount of money, which is what the Last Dollar tuition-free program would be, then why would anyone be opposed to that? Especially anybody that was pushing for this $400 billion bailout, which I disagreed with. I disagreed with the premise of the bailouts because the people that took the loans knew what they were getting into. And then because they took stupid ass degrees that don't carry over to the working world, or they're just not working now. It's supposed to be our job to bail them out. People that are working, people like, here's the thing. Do you understand that me as a taxpayer and as someone that's paying on student loans, that I would end up having to carry the burden of someone else? I'd essentially be paying student loans twice, which is the most insane thing. That's why so many people are up in arms about it. And not a lot of people agree. I agree that college is entirely too expensive, especially for what you get out of it. It's entirely too expensive. You know what I mean? Unless you want to match it and say, okay, if you make, say you owe $100,000 in student loans, your starting salary when you get out of college is $100,000. You know what I mean? Like, that's your precursor. So the more expensive school you go to, the more money you make in the long run, then that would make sense. But that's not the way it works. You know, you start out entry-level job, which is crazy that I'm about to say this, an entry-level job at $56,000 a year. I just saw a job posting that said that. It was like an entry-level, I forgot what it was. It was on LinkedIn. It was an entry-level job in supply chain and logistics where their starting salary was $56,000 a year. And I'm like, that's not an entry-level job if you're paying that much money. It's just simply not. Do you know what I mean? Matt said you'll have to know football. I think. Yeah, I know. I don't know football to be his coach, but I am a big, strong guy. I could be the trainer, but yeah, I don't know anything. I didn't even play football, so I couldn't do any of that. I couldn't do any of that, but I will. You know, they don't even have any plans. Like this time last year, we already knew his schedule for all the summer seminars and all that stuff. They don't have any. They don't even have a head coach. The head coach took a higher paying teaching job somewhere else. And so he's left. And so they don't even have a head coach for the football team. So I'm like, you know, I did apply for the position, and my wife is at a conference with the principal and a bunch of the other like senior level people from the school, the assistant principals and curriculum development people. And so I was like, you should tell, you know, the doctor there that I've applied for this fucking position and I'll coach a football team. She's now seen I'm big as fuck. So she, you know, because when people look at me, they probably assume I play football because I'm fucking huge anyway. But no, I didn't. Matt Kegley said, open up a freight broker school. I am. It's going to be free, though, because I think the world could use some properly trained freight brokers. Don't you, Matt, as a freight broker? No, I'm just going to have free resources on capacitytoday.com where people can go in, videos and all that stuff, you know? Because I think transportation is such an awesome career. I wish more people would do it, you know, and get involved in it. I would love to do free CDL school. You know what I mean? Figure out a way to do that. Free EMS schools, free everything. I would love to do all that. And it's not because it's like hippy dippy. No, because those are careers that are fulfilling. They don't pay shit, but they're fulfilling. You know, like being an EMT was one of the most fulfilling jobs. I couldn't do it because it fucked with my head too much, seeing kids die, but it was one of the most fulfilling jobs I've ever had in my life. You know, the freight broker side it's not as fulfilling, but it is pretty cool, you know, and it's busy and you get a lot of computers and a lot of monitors and stuff like that, which is really rad. But yeah. That's why I would do it. Someone said it exists. It's called vocational tech. Yeah, I know. But that's what I also think we should have. I think tech schools. Here's what I think. I think the federal government should require that people that finish high school in the 12th grade go and either do 2 years, they get the associates, or go to a trade school and learn a trade, or join the military. That is what I firmly believe. And then you could make the argument, okay, how do you pay for it? Well, the federal government should do it. Instead of sending all this money to Ukraine to support their war over there, how about we support Americans? I'm 100% certain that everybody in this chat would be in agreement of doing that and saying, hey, let's not send millions and billions of dollars to Ukraine, and let's put that money here so we can get some of these lazy shitheads that are making TikToks thinking they're going to have a career for the rest of their life. Let's put them in school. And we'll use that money for it. I guarantee people would do that. You know, I guarantee they'd do that. Trump just said he wants to turn education back into the states. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Guys, stop. That's why I left the door open, because I knew they'd fuck around the second I was doing this. Matt said, but Calvin Butler already does this. Just joking. Remember that douche? Yeah, I think he's still out there doing it. So is the Shaggy guy. They're still out there doing their like pyramid scheme freaking freight broker schools. I did freight broker seminars. So when I had the freight broker live thing, because I didn't like sponsorships then either, but I did seminars. So I would either do them like $200, and then for 3 or 4 days, people would be in a seminar, or I did it where they didn't have to pay shit, and then they just worked for me after. You know what I'm saying? And then I made a commission off of them. Or I just did free ones. Like I did an 8-hour seminar one day where we advertised it, and there were over 1,000 people in that freaking Zoom call. And I just talked about how to set up a trucking company. That's it. There's 1,000 people in there, over 1,000 people that just wanted to know how to set up a trucking company. We had freight factoring people come in and do live speeches. We had, insurance companies. We had a member of DAT come in and do a presentation on the load board. We had everything. Accounting software sponsors. Took me a long time to set that up. It did. And for me, it wasn't, granted, I made, $5,000 for that day. But the thing is, it took me weeks and weeks and weeks of planning. So when I actually broke down how much time I planned on, or that I did it, I lost so much freaking money. But you know what? So many of those people started trucking companies after, and so many people are successful. In fact, I believe some of them that started the trucking companies that were in that class are viewers. They may not be here early because we're here doing a live stream early, but they were viewers that watched all throughout the riots and everybody, and it's very cool, so it's but I like doing that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't, and I thought about teaching too, in school, and teaching supply chain and logistics and stuff like that, because colleges don't really have it all done. They don't really know what they're talking about. I remember taking a logistics class when I was a sales director for a big 3PL in New Jersey. I remember taking, because I got this thing in my head. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back to school. Like I've done 15 fucking times already. This time I'm taking it serious, and I'm getting pretty good grades too. So that's good. But, yeah, I remember taking a logistics. It was like intro to transportation or something like that, but you had to take it as a prerequisite. Oh, I used to fight with the fucking instructor so much, because I'm like, when's the last time you worked in logistics, you old shithead? Like, because everything that we did in the actual job, he was teaching like what we did, like when I first entered, you know what I mean? When I was like a forklift driver. So when I first started in the trucking industry, that's what he's teaching kids. But this was 7 years later. This is when automation was taken. This is right after we built the program that K-Stack was built off of. Yeah, I did that, motherfuckers. But, yeah, but that's why I know so many people in the logistics industry. That's why I have so much fun with the logistics. And then I was thinking, it'd be a really good side job instead of doing all the school stuff and all that, so I could just sling coffee and talk about stuff, would be to start an insurance brokerage specializing in trucking. And I know there's a million of them already. Do you know, Matt, this will surprise you. You know how much an insurance broker gets when they sell one of those $15,000 Progressive policies? They get like $1,800. That's freaking crazy. You know how many people are trying to buy trucking insurance right now? I could literally get my broker's license, get a license, and have 500 people instantly that want quotes and do all that stuff. Even if 10 of those people sign up, it's better than real estate. $1,800 they got. And I know that because I was the one that bought the policy. And I asked, I'm like, how much are you making off this? And they're like, oh, it's not that much. 1,800. I'm like, what? Like, you didn't do shit. I filled out a piece of paper online. And then literally you called, verified all the information. I paid them. Someone said, I wonder how hard it is to get a license. It's not hard. It's an online test, I believe. Like one of those. It's just like a real estate license. It's the same shit. You take a 140-hour course or some shit like that. And then you go and pay for a proctored exam and do your fingerprint background check, and bada boom. Yeah, I may do it. I'm not even kidding. Just because damn well I could sell the shit out of some insurance. And then I wouldn't have to worry about doing all the other stuff. I could sling coffee, sling insurance, and talk shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you actually know the industry too. So you're talking to drivers and you get those drivers that call you in. They're like, yeah, man, I would like to start a trucking company. Oh, how's your driving record? Well, I got a couple of accidents. Oh yeah, when's the most recent one? Well, I've had 3 in the past 2 weeks. Sir, you're not going to get in a policy. It's just, I'm not going to waste my time. I'll tell you right now, you're not getting one. You know what I mean? But it would be good to have an understanding of the industry and start doing that. And I bet it could go. Matt, you want to do that? You and me. You get licensed in your state. I'll get licensed in mine. We'll start a big company and we'll fucking rage. Can you imagine that? Our recruiting thing is to try to get brokers that didn't hack it. So you just start selling insurance. Oh my gosh, that'd be funny. That'd be funny. But yeah, you got to have a good record too. I think most states. I know in Virginia. Back in a second. And let's see. And then when the connection comes back, oh, it's not even that blurry. I thought it would be blurry. But but all right. So yeah, there's that. But did I tell you guys about this super awesome hashtag pay your bill shirt that everybody should buy? I'm serious. Everybody should buy the shirt that I just put in the chat. It's $22. Use code independence. You save 20% off your sale as well. I make a little bit of money off of it to pay my student loans. Plus, you can literally wear that and people are going to be like, damn, like I know exactly where you stand on the student bailouts. You don't even need to say anything. It literally says cancel student debt and that's crossed off with a hashtag pay your bills. That's literally the best shirt I've ever created. I firmly believe that, better than the whole the guy that's turned straight up racist now. What's his name? Behind Enemy Lines. Yeah, look at that shirt. Shirt's sick. Everybody should go buy that damn shirt. 20% off. Use code independence. And while you're at it, add some of our coffee can classics. Again, the ones we have in stock a lot, the Victory or Death whole bean cans and bagged. We got a bunch. But we're pretty much out of ground. So if you can avoid ordering any ground coffee, yeah. Unless it's a Wake Up America canned ground, but whole bean we got plenty in. So if you order this weekend, tomorrow I'm gonna help my wife clean the house because I didn't get it done today. I was too busy writing this big article. Anyone that's interested in freight, go to Capacity today and look at the main article on that page because I wrote a big article about why broker transparency or this push for transparency in the freight industry is fucking stupid. And it's such a good article because I took a long time writing it. So I thought, and there's still errors in it, just like always, but I took a while writing it and used pretty good analogies and why it won't work. And for anyone that advocates for broker transparency, yeah, tell me how U-Ship worked out. How did that help the freight industry? Because that's exactly it. You want to see how much the shipper's paying. Well, guess what? Every carrier would know. And then, it's stupid. But yeah, if you want to order some of our canned coffee, here's the link here. And the out of sync audio corrected. Oh, really? That's cool. Hopefully all of you guys are going to the store and buying. Not really. Damn, bro. The shirt is amazing. And you don't even have to wait for it either because it's shipped on demand. So you don't even have to really wait. You'll wait 4 or 5 days for the shirt while they print it and send it out. But it's not like I'm the one fulfilling it and I'll be slow about it because I'm trying to get good at it, but I'm not. I'll be honest. That's this new, and one of the reasons I'm trying to sell all the coffee, all the cans and everything is because we're going to start not labeling the cans, pre-labeling like we are now, because we're going to start personalizing all the cans. So like say when Matt orders a Wake Up America whole bean can, it's going to have like a special message on it from me. Like it'll say, prepared for Matt, roast date. Fuck you. No, but you know what I mean? It'll say that. And it won't say that, but you know what I'm saying. It's just funny because we could do that in the black and white labels here because I print all those labels, so it's cool. But yeah, if you guys want to go and order, today's definitely the day. I want to sell out of all the coffee I have this weekend, so I need the big spenders, the ones who go in and love coffee and you want to give it to your friends. Or, Matt, you're a freight broker, right? Why don't you man up and buy one of our custom branded coffee kits? Like, seriously. Or anybody else that has their own company. Use it as a marketing tool. Here's that link. That's it's expensive. It's 150 cans, though. You get 150 cans, black and white. You fully can wrap whatever you want on the label. You could buy it and start your own coffee brand and go flea market shop, spin it and put all the flea market coffee out there, and do all that. You could do it. You could do thing. Someone said, feel free to put extra coffee. I need to sell the coffee because I've already paid for it. You know what I'm saying? But lots of you guys are in the store now. Not as many. Like, you're starting to make me think like the website can't handle it. And because I bet there's people in the chat right now that have been watching, and all the viewers that are watching that have never even been to the store and seen its utter greatness. Matt said you made yourself retire at 40. I would like to retire by 42, but that shit ain't happening. That ship has sailed. That's not going to happen at all. Because I'm 39 now, feel old. Isn't it weird that the day I get, right around the same day I turn 39, my knee goes out. My knee's not swollen anymore. That's a good thing. But it still hurts. Like if I take a shower and I step on the rounded part, how a shower kind of is rounded like that. If I step on that, oh my gosh, my knee will throb. So that tells me it's the things, ligaments or whatever on the sides of my knee that are blown out, that are stretched out or something. So I'm going to have to start riding a bike and doing all that stuff, which I don't want to do, but I'm going to have to because cardio is for losers. But it's good for your legs because when you do squats and calf raises and all that stuff, your leg muscles expand. I don't know the scientific verbiage for it, but basically the fluid can't get to your knee as easy as it used to. And so your knee kind of dries out. That's what's happened to both of my knees. So it is what it is. DJ Me said I was going to retire by the time I turned 40, but I'm 20. I'm 21 years late. Yeah. Technically you're over the hill unless you make it to 100. Oh. Yeah, I guess you're right. But that's what? A new article right here said mentally ill man. A middle-aged man with a mental illness took his daily walk to McDonald's where the staff knew to expect him and which combo he would order. But while waiting for his meal inside a family restaurant, he was stabbed and brutally beaten, all because of the red jersey he was wearing. Up to 13 Black Power members and associates took part in the attack at the Howrah McDonald's in South Taranaki. Is this even America? I don't think so. I think this is a different country. So the Black Power is like a motorcycle gang. Where is this? I wonder where this is. That sucks, bro. It's a different country. Because they have McDonald's there. That sucks. Someone said I just deliver foods with the app some days just to keep moving a little. Other than that, I spend time with the family and have fun. Yeah. Mike said, love you, brother, but I can't order this until I get the stuff I bought 3 weeks ago. You didn't order it 3 weeks ago. You ordered it last week and it's already been shipped. Check your tracking. you know, except that box. That's up at the top. Almost everything. I think that's yours because you ordered 2 Patriot boxes plus some other coffee. Your other coffee's up there. I think I already sent you the Patriot boxes, so I'll have to figure that one out and send you more coffee that way. But everyone that ordered the Patriot boxes, you already got extra coffee too. Because I gave you a bag of coffee, either Wake Up America, pardon my French, and ground. But then I also included the opposite flavor in a can because that's how awesome I am. But yeah. Someone said start taking hyaluronic acid. Nah, I'm good. I don't even know what that is, but nah, I'm good. But also keep in mind too the Patriot boxes. So you're getting the ammo cans, the patches, the hats, the stickers, all that stuff in the coffee in the ammo cans. The shirts, you probably got an email saying your shirts are shipping. Shirts and the mugs are shipping separately, and you've already got an email. It's a whole new order number. But that's how I have to do the ammo cans because I ship the ammo cans. You can see them back here. The Patriot as fuck ammo cans. I shipped those from here. But the shirts and the mugs, if I don't have mugs here, the mugs get shipped from the store. So, but yeah. And so if anybody wants to order, what was I going to do? That shirt, because that shirt's badass. I've only sold, fuck. I've only sold one. The Pay Your Bills shirt. That's such a great name, dude. Pay Your Bills. Right there. Links in the chat. At any rate, I'm going to spend a half an hour watching my wife's plane set to land, hopefully, maybe. Let's see where she is now. Ooh, shit, she's close. She's close. She's literally like flying right over me right now. If I look on a map, we can like wave. You're far away. But yeah, on the map, she's literally kind of flying over us right now. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. She's now traveling at 18,000 feet at 378 knots. Wow, they've already slowed down that much, huh? They're still pretty fucking far away. She was cruising at what I say, 500 knots, 570 knots? That's crazy. That's just crazy, bruh. Anyway, but she's coming back. That's why I'm doing the early show today. If you want to support the show, please go buy coffee. Our whole bean coffee under the coffee can, classic coffee cans. That's what I need you guys to order so I can get rid of this stock and start doing the custom ones for every single one. Someone said you better get those dishes done. I got kids. I made them do them shits. So, but the house, other than that, it's a fucking mess. But you should have seen. You guys want to see the picture of the pancakes I made this morning? This is sad. And our house is empty. And so I'm like, can you place a grocery order? And so she did it while she was in the airport. And then I can't even pick it up till tomorrow morning. So we had to go get Burger King for dinner. And it was fucking good. I think I'm done with McDonald's. Look at my pancake. I know. This actually makes it look not too bad. That brown part on the top. It's fucking black, dude. I burned the shit out of that pancake. My whole house smelled. And you know what? The worst part about that was my pancake. My son's pancake came out perfect. So I skipped breakfast this morning. I was so pissed. The dogs ate that one because we ran out of dog food. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I used to be a good cook and then I got married and I just don't cook anymore. So anyway, guys, I want everybody in the chat. I'm not joking. Like, just do it once, please. And, if you haven't, or if you have, it doesn't matter. Go to that link in the chat right there, buy the t-shirt, use code independence. You save 20% off. It greatly, greatly, greatly helps me for everything I'm trying to do right now. And I would just really appreciate it. There's 123 of you watching across the social media channels that I could see here. If even half of you went and bought the shirt, we are so good. And it's better than you giving me a super chat or anything like that. because I get all of the profits after the expense of the shirt. So if you can, buy the shirt. I will see all of you guys tomorrow night. I will be doing a show. Maybe. I likely will be doing a show tomorrow night. Let's knock on wood. Hope we don't have any riots over the Supreme Court not being racist. It sounds stupid to say, but it's true. But yeah, everybody go to that link right there in the chat. Buy, well, that's not the right link, but that's a link to the coffee. I'll put the link to the t-shirt right now. Here's a link for the t-shirt, and then go from there. Life Killer FUL1 said, what did the Supreme Court do? Well, one, they made affirmative action illegal in colleges, which is, well, it was already illegal. Race, see, they can't use race as a qualifier or a preference or enrollment preference. They also restored the First Amendment and the freedom of religion to allow people that are religious to not have to make websites for gay people if they disagree with that because of their religion. And they also told millions of young kids, 18, 19, 20-year-olds that are lazy pieces of garbage, that they have to go out and get jobs because the federal government is not bailing out their student loans, which is what I'm the most happy about personally. And that's why I made this shirt, the Pay Your Bills, because it says cancel your student debt, and that's crossed out, and then it says pay your bills. So very good shirt, very good day. I appreciate all you guys for watching, and I will see all of you tomorrow.